We are back. Alex Jones taking some much-deserved time off. I am Jason Bermas sitting in. We're talking cybersecurity as a coordinator and new agency is announced as they really try to deal the death blow to the free internet, what has really enriched our lives over the past 10 to 15 years. They want to kill, they want to cut its throat, they want to bleed it out, and they want to resurrect it in their image of a complete cashless society control grid, their smart grid, if you will. That's why the census workers are GPSing everybody's home in this country 40 feet to their doorstep. It's a reality. We need to own up to that. That's why he openly stated that all of your medical records will be digitized. That's why he invoked the threat of Al-Qaeda on the internet and the cyber attacks. That's why you're hearing all this hacker talk. That's why hacktivists and alternative media are in the new domestic extremism lexicons out of the DHS, which is being swallowed up and amalgamated into the National Security Agency. And to a large extent, it already had been. They just felt like they needed more and more bureaucracies so that they could suck you into the system. Okay, and now they're just announcing it's part of the national security apparatus. No kidding. All the while, they are indoctrinating the youth into City Year and AmeriCorps and I Am Change. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Gandhi and Mother Teresa. But it'll be in a military formation and I'll wear a fascist jacket with the colors of red, white, and black. Give me a break. And again, the first cybersecurity chief just resigned a few months ago, with his concerns, particularly among privacy and civil liberty groups who oppose giving such control to U.S. spying agencies. However, intelligence officials argue that they must be involved in order to defend the country and its networks adequately. Folks, we're playing the clip right now, okay? They track, trace, and database everything you do with your cell phone and everything you do on the internet. That's every search you've ever done, every web page you've ever visited. And it's right here on Olbermann. And let me read you a little backup before we go to the clip, because the judges still have not even ruled on this yet. Okay? Let me repeat that. The judges still haven't even ruled on this. Well, when was it filed? January 2006. This was Hepting versus AT&T, a United States class action lawsuit by the Electronic Frontier Foundation against the telecommunications company AT&T. But AT&T is just the tip of the iceberg. It's basically every telecom company that's major in this country, more than 99% of them, in which EFF alleges that AT&T permitted and assisted the National Security Agency in unlawfully monitoring the communications of the United States, including AT&T customers, businesses, and third parties whose communications were routed through AT&T's network, as well as voice over IP telephone calls routed via the internet. So to an extent, all of your phone conversations, all of your text messages, and again, everything you've ever done on the net. The case is separate from, but related to, the NSA warrantless surveillance controversy, in which the federal government agency bypassed the courts to monitor U.S. phone calls without warrants. Hepting versus AT&T does not include the federal government as a party. Now, let me just say that the reason that this was thrown out initially and is now in appellate court is because the Bush administration illegally granted themselves retroactive immunity. Say it with me now. Retroactive immunity. That means you can't prosecute me for all the crimes I've done, and I made it into law because I'm your Lord God, the government. That's what they did. In July 2006, the United States District Court for the Northern District of California, in which the suit was filed, rejected a federal government motion to dismiss the case. The motion to dismiss, which invoked the state's secret privilege. See, they tried to get rid of it. They said because of state secrets, this has to go. Had argued that any court review of the alleged partnership between the federal government and AT&T would harm national security. Let's just invoke national security. You want to be safe, don't you? Remember, Obama talked about security and prosperity in his speech. In fact, you want to see the whole speech? It's over at the Infowarrior.com right now with this clip we're about to play. The case was immediately appealed to the Ninth Circuit, where it has been argued and still awaits a decision. 3.5 years later, we are awaiting a decision on whether it is unconstitutional for the government to track, trace, and database everything we do. Are you out of your mind? Of course it's unconstitutional. Of course it needs to stop. But the government loves you, and they will just come out more and more for this, more outward with the Cybersecurity Act, with the Cyberbullying Act, with now a cybersecurity coordinator, a new bureaucracy. But remember, here it is right here. They're already doing it. They're already spying on you. It's pretty obvious what's going on. All right, and again, this has gone on for at least 3+ years. It's probably been going on long before that, folks. If you don't think that they have a mechanism out there to literally database everything you do, you're not paying attention. And now they want to regulate what websites you can go to, what you can visit, the information on those sites, what you can say. Don't hurt anybody's feelings. You'll be charged with cyberbullying. We'll be back after this. It's the Alex Jones Show, PrisonPlanet.tv, Infowars.com. We are back live this final day of May talking cybersecurity. And, you know, Obama worked in all the slickest of tricks into his speech. Oh, it's to protect you from Al-Qaeda. Don't you remember when Russia attacked Georgia? It's going to be good when all the medical records are digitized and we have our smart grid. And don't worry, we would never spy on the American public. Meanwhile, they've been doing it through the past administration, and this administration is really just an extension of the Bush administration, making things much, much worse. The same agenda goes forward. Alex Jones on the line to discuss it with us. Alex?
Yes, from San Antonio now, calling into my own show here. Jason Halman coming in via AT&T iPhone spy device, which they admit under 1996 telecommunications law is designed where they can listen to me without a warrant, even if my phone is off, as an actual listening device, not just tapping my phone. How is my call coming in on my slave identification tracker system?
It's coming in rather well. AT&T provides the slaves with the best of service.
Okay, look, I just went on a break, it's always worse than even Jason says, and Jason, you're the best, but you're just going off what they're saying now. I have been on radio since 1996. Everybody heard me in 96 and 97, right here in Austin and all over the country, talking about the Telecommunications Act of 1996, okay, now 13 years ago. And that stated that federal law was $9 billion of funds to make the phone companies and the telecommunications internet, by law, everything recorded, everything tracked. It's like the Emergency Alert System of 1996 under an Emergency Preparedness Act. All radio, all TV, the final piece of device it wires through is a FEMA box that they can remote control by shortwave radio, which dials in with their audio broadcast and takes over broadcast. So, and all engineers listening know about this. So the martial law Northcom grid they set up back in the 90s, they didn't set Northcom up in 2002. They're out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. That is in control. And so they always say, we took your rights away after 9/11. First Bush said, I promise we're not listening without warrants. Then it came out they were. But they made it partisan like Bush started it. The NSA, without warrants, has been listening to the American people since the 1947 National Security Act and really before that. But they designed the entire infrastructure with the federal grants to industry and under law where everything, the joke of the World Wide Web that the shadow government set up was it was worldwide wiretap. That was the worldwide wiretap. That was the big joke, and that's why it's called tech. It is. They call it a control grid. MIT brags it is a control grid, and that's what they're saying with cybersecurity. French news agency today said what I was saying on the show last Friday was that this is a global military dominance system, not by the U.S. The U.S. is just a captured territory of the private banks. And so when they claim, oh, we just started spying on you without warrants to stop Al-Qaeda hitting you and hitting you hard. No, by law since 96, of course they had laws saying blacks weren't humans, the Native Americans should be killed, so forget their fraudulent laws. Everything is a giant wiretap where they're finding out what we think, what we're doing, and they're now announcing they're spying on us to create a chilling effect, to scare those of us that know what's going on, and to further dumb down the fluoride, mercury head slaves. And so, yes, remember when they denied NSA and DARPA, and they denied Echelon, and Alex says they're listening to me. Oh, sure they are. And then now now it's just mainstream news in everybody's face, but it's all for your own good. And Hannah Montana, the cartoon character, is out promoting the Cyberbullying Act that word for word says federal bans on free speech, anything the feds say that could hurt your feelings, federal felony charges. You go read the Cyberbullying Act being promoted on all the kids' TV shows. It's all happening. The end of America. And a lot of you are like, I don't care if they take my rights. I just want to watch football and act tough. Well, they're taking your rights so they can take your pension funds and take your liberties and freedoms so you can't resist and ever get the government back and bring the globalists to justice. This is a rearguard action so the social engineers of the New World Order can control society. Jason Bermas. And I'm going to be covering all this coming up on the show tomorrow, but I'm going to let you get back to breaking that down and covering the news. But this is what the face scanning cameras on street corners are about.